Hey, everybody on TikTok. Hope you can hear me and see me all right. We are just waiting in here through YouTube as well. Looks good. All right. So if you guys have any trouble hearing me on TikTok, you can switch over to YouTube at Ask Ivy. Welcome. Here on YouTube, looks like we have Destiny, Melanie, Jill Marie, Christina. Good. So we're just going to give this a minute for a few people to tune in. And I do want to talk about things that are going on here. So we have our on right now. You can win a free psychic mediumship course. It's a $20 value. I've never done this before. I am loving it. It's super exciting. You can get website, and that's in the description, okay? Or it's ivyrivera.com and enter to win. The drawing is April 20 at my free class. The free class is called Taste of Psychic Mediumship. And you can join that in person or through Zoom, but it is seating. So you're going to want to go ahead and get registered for that also on the website. On the 24th, we draw, and whoever wins the free psychic mediumship course, somebody else, that's an amazing gift, or, we'll see you there. And class starts April 5th. So the psychic mediumship course, if you want to go ahead and get yourself registered, that is psychicmedium.com, or you can go to Ivy League Psychic.com. I believe if you want to get on the early bird wait list, like you just want to learn more, want to get the upcoming videos explaining what the course is all about, you're actually going to go to psychiccourse.com. Okay. So we hope to see you for class. We have also coming up our walk-in night, our monthly, for $15. You get 2 tickets. That's 2 readings, a reading and a healing. You can mix or match. And I believe, if I'm accurate, that's the 20th. So that's the last Saturday of this month. Check your calendar. Make sure I'm right. Website. You can go ahead and get your tickets. Now that starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Want to make sure my audio, am I good, Destiny? My beautiful, that my audio is good and my visual is good in both places. Okay. We also have a numerology course. That's a 5-week course, starting on the 1st of April with Reverend Danny Johnson, numerologist here at the Academy. And you'll be learning everything, like getting a free chart. And then she's going to take you down life path numbers of numbers, what they mean, what to watch for, and how your on your time of birth, as well as your name, determine here to do, what your purpose is on earth. So it's really important to end these things. So we hope to see you guys there. You're going to want to go ahead and get yourself registered for that. If you can't attend numerology live with everyone else through Zoom, downloads as well. Okay, so it looks like we have a few people tuned in. Again, I want to say to here on TikTok, if you are not able to hear me or clearly, you can switch over to YouTube at Ask Ivy, and you'll also be able to see all of the old classes that I've been since COVID hit. So welcome, everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a Taino Airwalk, and I own a school called the Ivy League Psychic Academy, where I train people internationally. Slowly getting back to in-person classes again and I want to welcome you guys to check out full classes up on the website, Ivy League Psychic, for everything ranging from psychic mediumship development to numerology, Reiki, tarot, astrology, meditation, paranormal work, empathic work, you name it. Train children as well as adults. Now, what you've caught here tonight is one of my free classes called the Quarantine Series. I started putting out 1 to 2 free mini classes when COVID hit. And now we have quite an accumulation. So if you go here on my playlist under mini classes, you could see them all. You can also go anywhere if you like to listen to that you can download a podcast. And that's also under Ask Ivy. This week's class has been a long time in the making. It's called Why Strong Men Attract Narcs and Weak Men. Now, this all from a random meme that I put up on my social media that blew up. It had hundreds of shares. I was shocked at the reaction that it got. It had so many comments. I realized this is a topic that people definitely want to time on. So when I asked Spirit, is this something that I should do? I got the thumbs, and it's been pretty exciting. So we've had some ongoing dialogue with women as well as men on this particular topic for the last few months while we were waiting for on this class. And the meme itself was just and confronting the fact that all of us strong women patterns in the men that we attract and how unfortunate they turn out to be narcissists, very weak, and we want to break that. Really understand why we keep drawing these particular types in. Okay, so what I am going to look at here today, here's how Spirit has designed this class. Be taking your questions and comments, but more toward the end. We'll be taking those. So whether you're on TikTok or you're on YouTube, go ahead and type in your and comments. Donations are always appreciated, and a thumbs up right now. Okay, and feel free to subscribe. Appreciated. So I want to look at this from 2 different angles. I want to talk to you guys about why I believe spiritually and energetically and karmically this happens. And then I want to talk about some logical, developmental, more practical, things that we have some research. And all of these different angles will sort of break down why, and you can better piece together why it's happening to you. And then we'll talk about how to make sure it doesn't happen again, or at least that you can spot it more quickly than you did before, okay? Which is a huge success. The faster we get, the easier life becomes. So I want to talk first about the reality of being empathic. Men tend to be more highly empathic than men. That's a given. Men who are tuned into their feminine qualities than other men. So the highest level empaths are 3 and 4. I have a class called Empathic Awareness where you can learn more about this. But when you reach, especially those 2 higher levels of it, you start to notice some changes in the type of people that you attract. People that are envious will be drawn to you like a moth to the flame, who are self-destructive, people who desperately need healing, are mentally ill or are feeding with their mental health deliberately would be drawn to you. People or avoidance tendencies. This could also be drug and alcohol abuse. Come and essentially anyone who is a vampire. So this could be involuntary, but it's not just the men that are drawn to these highly empathic women. It's everybody who has those weaknesses or those problematic situations in their life, dealing with it very poorly, and they're deliberately feeding those problems. And some of them are dealing with it the best that they can. Nonetheless, all of them will come. And it's sort of like you have a sign above your on that says like, come to me for healing. And even if you don't make ever to reach out to people and you're not sociable and you're not friendly and you don't seem, they're still going to come again, like moths to the flame. So we talk about class. What does this mean in particular for strong empathic women? Well, it shows that strong empaths attract narcissists and sociopaths more than any other group of people. So that means that automatically you should expect, especially in regard to lovers, that high risk for that type of character, or should we say lack character. Now, this is very different from what we're going to talk about later with psychology behind this, because I believe that spiritually, energy, say, when this happens, the narc, the sociopath is drawn to the healing, strong, healing woman. I believe that in their mind, it is a challenge, a game. It is a goal to take out her light, to snuff it out, to take her. I see this every day in the readings that I do and the teachings that I do, and even in my own life. So it is some kind of a sick, twisted challenge for that character to latch on to someone who is of a high vibration and to take that vibration. That's a major red flag. Be very careful. Now, the other spiritual, energetic, karmic reason I want to look at here is of the revolution that we're going through. So right now we are going through a spiritual revolution, you could say. I did a class on this here on YouTube. It's called End Times. Are we there? I believe we're going through national, right, universal shift. Now, if this is going to take place where we see a huge of power and shifting of hands, the head becomes the tail becomes the head, I've been breaking down since around 2019, is what that's going to look like specifically. Groups of people will be leading this revolution. And the very last part, transition, which has already started in more recent months and will be going on for years. And we're going to talk about in astrology, the Lilith transfer. This is the divine feminine taking over. So women will lead this revolution. Of the revolution is natives, okay, indigenous people, and women. So what does that mean? Well, that means that toxic patriarchal systems, a lot of capitalism, are going to be wiped out, revolutionized, taken down, and feminine power come back into play, like a matriarchal system, the return. So as this is happening, we see more and more using it, flipping out. We see white privilege. We see that men who have been in a entitled position of power all this time for hundreds of years are just kind of losing their mind, getting more abusive, narcissistic, toxic. They do not lose that upper hand, but there is no stopping it now. And so one of the things that we see with this and energetically is that a lot of these men will latch on to the power taking over. And whether this is just you being hassled in your comment section on social media, guy trying to get into your bed and get into your life, you need to be on guard at all times. And woman is going to attract more of those men who don't want to see the patriarchy wipe. Okay. And again, this will be going on. I want to say it's really going to be peaking in around 2024, but leading into it fast, quickly, and strong. Things in that vein, maybe it's not such a bad thing. Kind of woman who attracts these weak, frail, small characters. Maybe it is a compliment and you just need to get faster, okay, on finding the behaviors, which we are going to talk about right now on the psychological and developmental aspects of this, and look at search and talk about red flags. Okay. Again, if you guys are tuning in on TikTok, if you have any trouble hearing me, go to YouTube at Ask Ivy. Please, everybody, give this video a thumbs up. Appreciated. Start posting your questions or comments now. Destiny, my beautiful producer, will be putting them at the end of the class. All right. So let's look at this. What from research? Well, first of all, I just want to put this out there. I just saw something the other day saying 82% of women are rejecting the idea of marriage. Now, this has been a long time coming. Last time I checked, it was somewhere up like in the high percent. Like, I had to pick my jaw up off the ground. That means that women to point collectively, okay, where we are saying no thank you, not yours, the majority. And this is a lot of deciding to keep their money to themselves, keep their peace of mind, property. If they decide to have children, they're having children on their own. Maybe if they have partners in their life, they're keeping it light. And it looks like a lot of women are turning toward other women. Is on a skyrocketing incline. So very interesting dynamic. If that's not a sign that the times have changed and that women are done, I don't know what is. Okay. Let's look at, I think I have 6 different, psychological, developmental reasons why strong women attract narcs and weak men. So number 1, shows that these weak men are drawn to these strong women because they want a mom. That's not new. I'm going to talk about this briefly because this has been around since the beginning of time. But it is important to reflect on because you have to remember if you're a strong woman and a man like this comes to you, he doesn't present himself as weak. Present himself as someone who has nothing to bring to the table. He's going to present himself as bold, strong, and eager to help you grow and wanting a. That doesn't mean it's going to last. If what he typically done in the past is lean on his mother for a ton of support, or they have. I would also watch for red flags like emotionally incestuous relationships or to mother narcissist to male favorite, what do they call them? The star child. These are going to be problem situations. Take many, many years of therapy and hard work for this male to grow out of that and be actively involved in his self-development. So they cleverly present something else. But you would notice early on in the relationship, red flag number 1, this person usually has escapist or tendencies. We could see like Peter Pan syndrome. He just doesn't really want to grow up, or he can't be consistent with it, back and forth, back and forth. We would see that with the escapism and the avoidance toward excessive eating, watch out for like obesity, excessive playing. We would also see sometimes a porn addiction or weird habits that aren't really healthy or mutual or engaging. They don't show any of intimacy or him being able to connect. We would also see drug and abuse issues. Okay. How do you know? Well, by patterns. And the only way this is ever going to be revealed to you is if you stick around, and probably at about a year to a year and a half, these things start to creep in. You're going to start to notice that he engages in some of these activities. Not always, but definitely when ego isn't high enough. Okay. And then you would start those patterns and maybe ask a lot of questions, find out if he was, abiding childlike behaviors in the past. And you're going to have to do some research and for yourself. Other red flags in regard to a man who a mom. Okay. He wants someone to take care of him or replace his original mother. Some of the ways you could tell is by looking at career history. And if you see a lack of growth in the career, stability in the career. Okay. Also look for poor financial. Does he always seem to be in some kind of financial crisis? It's a sign that he was always running back to mom for security. Okay. And him unhappy lovers. And that is someone who were unhappy in their last relationship or even the one before. All their relationships were unsatisfactory. Yet when you ask how long they were there for quite a while. So they weren't being upfront. They were just woman as their mother. Okay. All right, let's move on to number 2. star basking, okay, or ego stroking. They want to have the power that you have as a strong woman. So people who over identify stars, public figures, they like to bask in that person's light. They love relativity, association. They like to take advantage of that and that energy that strokes their ego. Okay. Same thing as that. They want the power have. The reality is that he wants to become you, but he doesn't want to have to work. So it's sort of the saying every success has a successful, strong woman behind him. It's kind of like that. These guys, they latch onto you as a strong woman, they will somehow become that successful man, but he doesn't intend to do the work whatsoever. He will deliberately feed your power. So to spot, because it seems very flattering to have someone who's always like, oh my God, you're amazing with this, let me build you up, let me build you up. But really they're siphoning all that energy out to them one day to sort of become you or have what you have. And it's it from you. They don't want to actually earn it. Okay. So they hope it'll just sort of transfer. Some of the red flags here involve you and your ladies. You have got to be careful that you are not committing. This is like I tell my students, the psychic mind sees the end result. What that means is that we see the potential in people. We see the potential for a situation to work out. We can have a desire to hold on and allow something to remain in our lives for longer than it should, because it could be that great thing. He could be that great person one day, and somehow decide that that's a reality, and it's not a reality. What is in front of you is the reality. And so don't allow yourself to up in what could be in the future. Okay. I call him potential guy. It's potential guy. So what does this mean? Okay. What are some red flags here? Well, in regard to, this person who wants your power and wants to bask in your light, and so you are, have what you have, he is going to flatter you. He is going to be amazing. And that every accomplishment take is something that he can help you to either grow more or point. And watch out for this red flag, especially. He may start to take credit for it. Putting it in your I've done for you, everything I've done for you, or manipulating, okay, giving above and beyond the call of duty to keep that control and hopefully be able to take over that power. Okay, that's not actually doing the work. You'll see what's in front of you. Number 3, research shows that these men enjoy being weak in day-to-day lifestyle, in the life that they've created for themselves. They are characters. They are not growing or contributing a ton to anything. They're just, skating on by. And some of the red flags see with this is that they don't have boundaries for themselves, set boundaries. They don't maintain boundaries. Even if they were to set them, they present as though they don't need boundaries. Okay. Again, the overgiving, the other people when they haven't set proper boundaries. This is because they enjoy a strong woman will continue to just take over and will stay with them if they without boundaries, which is never realistic. Also, another red flag, they can blame you. This is where it really turns into abuse. They can blame you being overbearing. They can blame you for demanding too much. They can blame you having expectations of them or the relationship when they give so much and they never set boundaries or ask you for anything. Very manipulative. And so they pride themselves on being the helper. So this is a situation where we really want for them to like spend more time on themselves or their growth, maybe even their career, and they literally won't do it. They just have you convinced they want to be your help. And it's to hold that position of weakness that they actually enjoy. Big flags. Okay. So this level of weakness, manipulation for it is also abuse, and this often ends up being financial abuse, basically siphoning all your money as well. Then another one that comes up a lot for people in the story, but in regards specifically to narcissists, and that is a narcissist will actually cause problems for you and then fix it, become the hero, become the helper. So if this narcissist is like messing up your computer system, or if your glasses are always going missing, or if there's always a car repair, or if there's always some kind of, he comes to the rescue. He's trying to convince you that you need him, but he actually caused the problem. That's another huge red flag connected to this particular kind of weak man. Knowing how busy a successful is, this weak man or narcissist will always the chase. He is there for you early in the relationship, every way possible. He would be looking for a commitment, and beyond the call of duty, they're to give to you, even though you haven't earned it yet, and it may feel flattering or it may feel creepy. Huge red flag. Okay, so someone too early on making themselves available to you. This is the kind a weak man knows to be for, because most strong women don't have the time, the energy, or the interest, and a lot of men like that chase, so they kind of play the opposite. Okay, and that's how they get in. Number 5, this really to the number 3 that we were talking about, where they enjoy being weak. Well, number 5 is they ask for no control. If you think back to all the relationships you've ever had in your life, or observing other relationships, where did it ever seem healthy to have one person who had all the control and another one who was just like a rock sitting there? Ever. That's not normal. That's a major red flag. So if this person never has an opinion, never wants something specific, never has goals, never argues, never says, I want to do it this way, or this isn't working for me, or can we try, never really comes to the table, bringing some kind of height, that's a problem. There is some type of creepy manipulation going, and they don't want to have an opinion. They don't want to have any kind of desire about anything. They want to make sure that you are going to stay in control 100% of the time. Way it may seem easier, as a strong, powerful woman, it's pretty early on that you start to realize it's like you're with a kid. You just, it's like you're parenting. Okay, so they want to make sure they take over that level of control. Now, that's not to say that later they won't get manipulative and to deceive and take on full control through disastrous tactic. Narcissists and sociopaths will. Okay, so could become disruptive, but not least, they need therapy. Instead of dealing with their trauma, their stunted development, their issues from life, they decided not to cope and to latch on to strong women so that these women can be their therapists, and can think what they're hoping for is that these women will do the work for them. So research shows actually high up in the ranking of why these men choose to latch on to strong women tend to attract these weak men. And it's a shame when a strong woman will keep a weak man like that around too long because the amount of work that needs to be put into treatment and therapy and healing is long. Okay. So we up wasting a lot of time on a weak man like that. If you have someone come into your life, ladies, who has trauma and they're well, or they need to do some work, or they have mental health issues, and they have not done anything substantial with that in therapy or self-care, you think that you're going to be able to sort of patiently wait this out. It's about 5 years of foundational therapy just to get the basics of healing, none of at least moving. And that's a long time. Okay. So you're not from this person, possibly for 6, 7, 8 years, maybe even more than that. Weak man who latches on is looking to never have to do that work. Relationship can come to a head, and you would see a lot of red flags and complications when you do reach a point where you say, I can't do this for you. You need to go to therapy. Okay. You have to watch and make sure that that's actually happening, and that it's consistent, and even that there's a lot of homework in therapy, and therapy should be consistent. And like in all of that is that they end up being grown-ups and just never bothered to do it. Pattern, I would run for the hills. Okay. So those are the 2 energetic karmic reasons and the 6 psychological reasons we see this happening. I would love to switch this over to questions now. Destiny, if you want to start putting them up. And if you guys did not already post your questions, and go ahead and do so at this time. Okay, so we see. Okay, so you guys are telling me that we were having some cutting in and out with this and some pixelating. Okay. So I don't know how much of that we were able to fix. If here on YouTube, then you may want to go ahead and switch over to TikTok at Ask Ivy. All right. So I don't know if Destiny is able to put anything up tonight or not. I'm not seeing any questions popping up here or any interaction with her, but I want to address some that I can see from here. So, we do have one. Okay. So let's see. So Jess the Jelly says, could you have some of these tendencies when you were younger? Jess, I don't know if you're referring to tendencies to take on weak men, if you're talking about tendencies to be the weak partner. But absolutely think that for most people, this is a problem that would show up. And it is something that you can overcome if you're processing and you're developing and you have a growth mindset. I think that, though, are not necessarily seeing this problem until they're a little, because their finances aren't established, their career isn't established until then yet, where they would be considered a strong, successful power. And so, yes, it can absolutely happen both ways. And I hope that if it was happening for you, learned your way through it, you were able to correct it, and sharing that wisdom with us, something that we're looking for, and sharing that wisdom with others, most certainly something you should be giving out. We have another one. Okay, so from 858 on TikTok asked, how Narcissism Begin? How does it start? Well, I find that a lot of narcissists are bred into it. You are typically raised by a narcissist, or even maybe both of your parents were a narcissist. It's pretty hard to be raised by one and not come out as a, or with narcissistic tendencies. So there's a huge difference between someone who by a narcissist and is managing their energy and is striving to understand the difference between high vibration and low vibration. They are mindful, choosing the ethical thing and the moral thing versus people who've just let their light go out and they're dark and their goal is always to manipulate and get and feed others. And so even a child who was a narcissist is not necessarily off the even if they didn't become one, to have to battle those issues. Okay, we have another one coming in. All right, so we have one from a Christina Morales. So can childhood trauma cause some men to behave this way, behaviors? Well, yes, the childhood trauma be dealt with. And the biggest issue is that most men aren't to get therapy or seek help. I find it so unfortunate. I remember a therapist saying to me once about my ex, if he would have done something about his trauma, maybe up until his mid or late, he would have been able to probably correct a lot of the behavior, the toxic behavior, the narcissistic behavior, the damage he was doing. He didn't. Around 28, a lot rate rapidly. And so from like 28 to I think the therapist or something, they can develop all kinds of additional issues that spurred on by social isolation and in that area where they basically have no reality check. They disillusionment, and if they do interact with other people, they're with the same issues, and that's all the only place they can feel comfortable anymore. So men have specific issues that happen around those ages, and be dealing with their trauma earlier, not waiting until they're in their 30s or 40s and they meet a woman who forces them to go. Yes. Most of the time, I would say it is due to childhood trauma. We have another question. The Silly Rabbit 89 says, how can we tell the difference between who is narcissistic versus someone with narcissistic tendencies that can be helped by their actions? Watch for if you see someone who is constantly failing to do the right thing or to consistently maintain doing the right thing, that's narcissistic behavior. What are you going to do about the reality that they're not showing any fruit? Well, you have to set boundaries. You probably go no contact, but at the very least, you have to set boundaries and make sure you're not enabling. You will get negative karmic kickback from the universe. So I have found personal life that spirit will come and tell me when it's time to cut somebody like that off, stronger boundaries, because I don't want any of the negative karmic kickback coming in the world. And so you wait and you hope for them to do the best. They have their free will, but if they have to be ready to do what you must do to protect yourself. I had other people who have narcissistic tendencies and are bad will often show that they are processing what they need to do. They're processing what's happening, and they're in that energy, honest and truthful in that energy. They are not going to run others and circumstances outside of them as much as they are going to show and process it and then apply those lessons to their life. So I guess I could say the big thing to look at is, are they walking out their lessons, or are they just pretending to like ponder these lessons? Okay. We have another one coming in from a another one coming in here from a Jess the Jellyfish. Could act like a narcissist when you date one? Yeah, so for sure, you get entangled with a narcissist and you're having getting out, you may want to do some self-evaluation on your moral or your moral compass and your code of ethics and who you more when someone doesn't really know who they are. This can all, if you're around friends who are like super gossipy or backstabby or they're a bunch of traitors, if you in the company of people like that and that's sort of all you can attract to you, you may not really, you may not have a strong moral compass. But if you find that most of that are drawn to you, if your social circle is healthy, these are strong individuals who know the difference between right and wrong, and you find yourself engaged in like acting even like a narcissist, like getting down on their level in the dirt with the dogs and fighting with them, yes, that is a typical reaction to engaging with a narc, which is why it's always recommended go no contact. There is no other way with a narcissist, I haven't found, than to go no contact, because their ultimate goal is always to steal your energy by pulling you down to their level. And there are a million tactics that they use. There are if you Google narcissistic behavior in the 12 tactics, you'll probably see this guy there. So know the 12 tactics and don't engage them at all, because there's no future there. Okay, we have another question. Okay, okay, good. That was our last question that we're taking. Okay, I just wanted here, I see popping up. Yes, just the jellyfish, you are welcome. So Destiny says, but I just want to take this one more. The Silly Rabbit says, is there anything we could do energetically or cleansing one can repel a narcissist from us as empaths? Yes, take the Empathic training on my website. It is 2 hours that will revolutionize your life. So in that class, I talk about all kinds of tools and tactics that you can use to repel a narc. The basics are also getting really educated. As a level 4 empath, is a strong, powerful woman who attracts typically very weak men and narcissists. I have done a ton of independent research, start reading up on it and studying other people who have gone through and the people that are drawn to you. But when you know more, you are more to protect yourself better and faster, for sure. I would also recommend that if you are surrounded by people who tend to engage with other weak-minded characters or narcissists, and they just sort of put up with it all the time, I would pull away from those situations as well. It really does attract like, and sometimes your enabling of that person to stay a victim to they're going to create toxic karmic kickback on you. All right, thank you, my beautiful producer. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Please do hit that thumbs up button, share this video, and I will see you guys Wednesday for my Ask Ivy show next week, 8 p.m. Eastern here. I take your personal questions. I deliver out messages from Spirit. Hope to see you at the Numerology. Go get registered, and the Psychic Mediumship course starting April 20th. Great night, everybody. Thanks.